Hey guys, welcome to a brand new series. We don't have a name so far for this, so when I do explain to you, please feel free to leave down suggestions for the name in the comments down below. Over the years, I have been getting a lot of questions on how I sort of come up with plated desserts, what the conceptualization and execution process is like. And yeah, with every plated desserts, it's quite different. I wouldn't even say it's a little different, it's very starkly different. And I thought it would be fun to make a chatty series out of this, telling you about how the process works and how those plates of food are sort of made. And what better way to start off the series than to start off with a massive fail? For me personally, plated desserts are sort of a creative outlet. If you've been following me for a while, you know my style of baking is quite rustic when it comes to breads or even desserts. I don't usually make them look very artistic, but there will be those one off moments when I do want to present something that looks just as amazing as it tastes, and I want to put in that extra effort of making it look like art, like a piece of art on a plate. So that's what plated desserts personally mean to me. Uh, and again, because it is a creative outlet, it is impacted by how I'm feeling. And so you can judge for yourself what my day was like when I made this dessert. The idea basically started because I had one of those Trikaya Thai mix boxes. If you've seen those, I had one of those lying around with me. And I kind of didn't want to make something savory with it. And I was like, why do I not try to incorporate these herbs into sort of a plated dessert or a dessert? One of the first issues I faced was that rain started way too early this year, and I was not anticipating that. And it was an idea based on a pavlova. So I wanted to do like a plated version of a pavlova, but if you bake even a little, you know meringues and humidity are the worst combination possible. In general, living in Bombay and making meringue is a nightmare, but if the rains come in too early, or if if you don't have a commercial setup, it's nearly impossible to get a good meringue. And that's exactly what happened. I made a couple of batches of meringue. So the idea was to have like a meringue disc at the base, and then one of the final pieces to be like these meringue petals almost. I wanted it to look a little bit like a sunflower, not exactly. The idea was to have like a meringue disc at the base, and then one of the final pieces to be like these meringue petals almost. But yeah, that's what I was planning to do, except I made three batches and all three of them massively failed because the rains came in too soon and the meringue caught moisture almost instantly. I let them dry in extra with the door shut, all of that. Nothing works out. If you worked with meringue, you know this. As soon as that oven door opens, it's dead. It's essentially dead. That was the first element that failed. Then when it came to using the elements from the Thai box, I wanted to do this lovely diplomat cream using kaffir lime. It tasted great, except it was way too loose. So when I piped it onto the meringue disc, it sort of started falling apart instantly. Again, when things go wrong, everything goes wrong all at once, is exactly what happened with this dish. The next element was a lovely galangal sponge. This is the one element that did not fail, but I ended up cutting the wrong size, and because the diplomat was oozing out, I was kind of short on time, so I could not resize it. I had to place it just as it is. I made a lovely passion fruit sorbet to go in the middle. Again, the idea is for it to look like a sunflower, so I wanted those lovely yellow elements sort of coming in, and that's what I thought I would be doing with the passion fruit sorbet as well. But yeah, I made the huge mistake of scooping it instead of setting it in a mold and letting it be flat, because one of the final elements was supposed to be mangoes, fresh mangoes, because they had just come in season. And again, to play on this whole tropical Thai herb kind of vibe, I really wanted these really thin pieces of mangoes to be sitting on top of the sorbet, except a curved sorbet with the slices of mangoes on top, as you can see, just completely fell apart. And yeah, that was one of the final elements to fail. So yeah, that was roughly what went wrong and right with this plated dessert. Regardless of everything going wrong, it tasted great, which I'm glad it did, because it did not look the way I had planned it in the slightest. But yeah, once the rains decide to go away and the humidity is not as bad, I'm definitely going to try to recreate this. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for the name of this series, please let me know. I cannot think of anything. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's someone watching this. I know I don't really pop on here and do these videos often, but I want to try to do those more and talk a little bit about the creative process that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that's quite interesting. So if anyone's still watching around, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.